Welcome back to Tea and Couch. I'm your host, Alisa Brunetti Mukai. Today on the couch, I have Monika with me, and we are going to talk about sexuality and gender from the sociological perspective. We are going to dive into how our idea of normal are actually shaped by the world around us, and how those ideas are finally being rewritten. Welcome, Monika.
Hi, nice to be here.
Do you want to start from introducing yourself?
Uh, yes, well, or I can just introduce myself. So I'm Monica, as you said, and I am a sociologist. And in my studies, I mostly focused on gender sociology. But with that, like, it wasn't only that, it comes with different aspects. Like, I also focused on media and sexuality.
That's really cool. Can you please explain what does sociology mean in both a definition of the dictionary, but also like what does it mean for you?
Yeah, so for me, what I have found, what's the easiest way to describe to people what sociology is that like when you think of psychology, because most people know what psychology is like the study of humans. Sociology is the same, it's the study of humans, but the focus is different. When psychology focuses on like the individual, like the person, sociology like takes a bigger view. It looks at people, but from like a societal perspective. When it's like yes, we do kind of look at individuals, but about how they are shaped by group settings, like how the bigger constructs of society affect people. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so. And what does it mean to talk about sexuality and gender from the sociological perspective?
Yeah, so a lot of the times it's mostly focused on like so it mostly relates to like different types of gender studies of how different aspects of society like affect it. Also with sexuality, uh, kind of like how our like school, work environments, our political climate, like legal systems, how they interact with sexuality, how they affect it, how these types of norms kind of form our opinions. Because when we grow up in a family, our family like kind of passes on the first beliefs. And then you go out into the world, you start school, you go to your work, then you have like new ideas from new kinds of people. Then you go to like third places, or you have hobbies, you have some events you go to, and you meet like again new types of people where you get like new kinds of perspective, and all of them affect you. Like even if you're not like consciously thinking about it, you're still affected by it, in the sense of you don't want to be an outcast of society. You still want to be within the normalcy, in a way of like not be alone.
So there is a lots of different things that affects us, right? So society, school, family. Is there like one big thing?
No,
No.
no. There is no one big thing. It's always all the things all the time. And in sociology, it is very difficult to measure everything very precisely, in a way of like, oh, we have like 10% of people, I don't know, like to eat beef. But it's like, oh, but why? You have like those very different aspects of like, did they eat beef when they were growing up? Like, did kids at school like tease them about it? Or like, so you have like all these different types of facets that come into it. And like, it's not just one thing. And all those different things interact with each other as well. So it's like, if one thing changes, then all the other things change as well. So it's very intertwined.
How does this idea of normal get shaped? So obviously the if the majority of people think the certain thing, then that's normal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like the average is something of if you have a person that's 2 meters and a person that's 1 meters, the average height of a person is 1.5 meters. So it's like the average doesn't accurately describe all of it, but it gives like a general idea what the bigger majority of like kind of lands into.
Is there any hot topic in sociology right now in the topic of sexuality and gender?
Honestly, the sociology of sex is in fact a hot topic. For example, just last year, like in April, Sage Journals like first published a new journal, which is like sociology of sex, because the topic in sociology has been a bit taboo, kind of in a way of like, oh, we don't need to study it, or like, oh, it's not important, or kind of this like it hasn't been taken that seriously. So it is a bit of a recent thing that it's like studied more in depth and like going more into the different aspects. Like people have studied it, but it's been under like other categories, or like when it's about sex work, then it goes to like work sociology, or if it's usually when it's like sexuality and LGBT plus things, then like it goes under like gender sociology, or so it's like classified under other things, but like it hasn't been that prevalent as its own thing.
So it's kind of like finally people are starting to talking about sex in a sociological perspective also.
Yes, exactly.
I see. Is there any recent study that really catched your eyes?
Mm, I haven't been that much up to date with the recent studies that have come out the past year. But I did my own research last year about sex, which was a difficult thing to do because it wasn't something that was like taught in school specifically as a subject. So I had to do a lot of my own research. But yeah, I looked at Perfume advertisements and did a visual analysis how sex is depicted in advertisements, because again, that's one of the aspects that you see it every day, and the more you see it, it's kind of like, oh, that's what sex is supposed to look like. That's like the normal thing, especially because sex is not talked about that much, of like what it is, how it's supposed to be, like the details. It's always like implied, or kind of like you have to figure out when you start having sex and experiencing. And so you take inspiration from like the things you see around. It's like, oh, in advertisements, I see that sex is like this and this. So I'm like, okay, it should be something like this. And then you take from other aspects, like, oh, my friends have told me this and this about sex. And it's like, okay, so there's like these puzzle pieces. So all of this kind of shapes our idea, like how sex is supposed to be, what it is, and also like what kind of sexuality do we see. That also shapes it.
In a recent year, I feel like a lot of people are saying that there is a increased population of LGBTQ people.
So, like technically, statistically true, in a sense of like if we compare data from like now, well, not now, but 2025, and compare it to 2024. For example, a US study is like the amount of people that identify as LGBT plus, like within the umbrella, like it used to be around 5%, now it's over 9%. So it's like almost doubled with like 1 year. And it's not that much of like, oh, so many people are just turning gay. It's no. LGBT people have always existed, but there is a certain freedom that's growing, at least in the Western countries, that you have legislation. like legal systems and like the general societal norm is like starting to grow like more on the side of like it's more accepted. Like obviously we're not fully there yet, but we are making progress. And like like even if we look at like a rainbow map, there is a fun thing called a rainbow map, and it shows like how good of a score different European countries have in the way of like legal system and policies. And I looked at the data from like this year and 5 years ago, and like all of the countries have like significantly increased their score by like 5 percentage points, like 10. It's like getting better and better. So the safety to be like more open about like, oh yeah, I think I actually might not be straight. Like it becomes more normal, and people feel like more comfortable saying it. Like it comes with its caveats though. Like it's not always that straightforward of like, ah yes, now I feel safe, and now I'm like identifying as this type of sexuality, and like everything's all normal. Because the biggest leap or like the biggest increase has been of bisexual identity. And even like last year's fields, like the dating app field, um, it does like a summary of like what kind of sexuality tags were used, and Heteroflexible had almost a 200% increase.
Oh wow, that is
Which
a
is
big
a lot.
increase. Yeah.
So like it's not quite bisexual or like lesbian, gay, like on that sense, but it's like, I will start exploring it. Also the Bicurious had a big increase as well. So there is like a more comfortable sense of like, I'm not fully straight. Like I'm leaning into more of the spectrum of sexuality. Yeah, because like back in the day, like, oh, you're gay, you're lesbian, or you're straight. It's like very one or the other, like kind of very strict in a way. Like it makes it easier for people to comprehend the idea or like understand it. But also the like media representation of it tends to be like, oh, they are gay, they are lesbian. And that's it. Like anything in between, it's a bit like it gets muddy. But because we know that like sexuality isn't like you're on this side or you're on this side. It's like you can be somewhere in between, you can be somewhere around the like back and forth. It's not like linear. It's not like it goes all the different ways. And like media has opened up like a conversation that like you see more people being like also gay and lesbian, but also all the things in between. And the labels that are used, like in addition to like gay, lesbian, bisexual, you have like pansexual, omnisexual, sapiosexual. Like you have so many labels, and people are starting to explore them. Because yeah, a lot of the times they're like, oh, but everyone's a little gay, like no one's straight, like of course. But like that turns out it's not actually true. And I was one of the people who would also think that. I was like, oh yeah, like everyone's a little bit gay. But it's like, well, no, there are actually people who are like straight, like don't feel any attraction to other genders. And when I found that, I was like, oh, okay, then I guess I might not be straight. Because when you're living inside your head, you're like, oh, what I'm experiencing is normal. Like it's probably everyone else is like thinking and experiencing the same thing. But it's again like, if you don't talk about sex and sexuality that much, you don't get to like hear what other people say, you don't get to find out what other people's normal is, so you don't have the point of comparison. But yeah, like I realized that I am pansexual, so also like not like the gay, lesbian, straight line. It's like somewhere in between in the mix. But yeah, this big mix of like, oh, but you're pansexual, or like even with like bisexual, it's often like, so, but like, what are you really? Because like if you're together with an opposite sex partner, you're like, oh, they're actually straight. It's like, no, they're straight. And if they're together with the same sex partner, they're like, oh, they're queer, like they're gay. Like, but it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. But that stereotype is coming from like both sides of straight and gay. So like there is like a certain degree of bi erasure of so like that's what I mean, is that like it's not very black and white and very like straightforward of like this or that. It's like very fluid. And when we go back to like why heteroflexibility and bicuriosity is like on a rise, is that you get to explore this spectrum. Like you kind of break away from the binary thinking of like this or that. It's like, yeah, you have all the options in between.
I assume at first you thought you were straight, yeah? And what in your environment, as we said in the beginning, like was it the school that changed you? Was it the family that changed you? Was it your friend that changed you?
It was a mixture of hobbies and friends with media. So I dance, and one of the dance styles that I would dance was Vogue, which is an LGBT plus dance, like it comes from the community. And I felt so safe there and so normal and so accepted. I was like, this is a nice place. I started feeling better, more natural. And the other aspect was media, like what you get served on social media. And why I said is that, like, oh, everyone's a little bit gay, because I started receiving like information of, well, no, no, that's not true. And at first I was very reluctant to like, no, no, that can't be it. What do you mean? Of course, everyone's a little bit gay. But then you actually meet like straight people and they're like, no, no attraction. And that was when I was starting to realize, okay, might be something. So yeah, it was again a combination. It's never this one thing.
Do you feel this increase of LGBTQ in your own life also?
Uh, yes, but it has been more on purpose to include it more, because even the statistics show that people who are bisexual, most of them are still opposite sex relationships. And like, I think it does come from people not being fully comfortable of coming out. Or if you have existed your whole life in a very straight oriented environment, you don't have many friends who are in the community. So the people you meet are also straight. If I would have gotten opportunities of meeting cute girls, I would have been in relationships with them. I would have interacted with them, but I didn't find people like that in my life. When I met girls that I liked, it was always, oh, they're cute. Oh, but they're straight and they have a boyfriend. the curse. But when I started actively going more into scenes of LGBT people, then I started meeting more people who are like me, and I got to actually fully experience my own sexuality. So I think a lot of the people fall into the trap of one way of just continuing living their life, which is not a bad thing. You can be with whoever you want. But there is a trend, and I think that is one of the aspects of it. Another one, I think, is the other thing is internalized homophobia. Is you think you're fine, you think you're okay. Yes, I'm chill, I'm cool. Like, I mean, I am bisexual, I can't be homophobic, but it's very internalized beliefs that we have to deconstruct for ourselves. It's also when you have like, I mean, for me at first, it was very difficult to kind of navigate my brain into being, oh, but sex is usually like it includes penetration. That's sex. That's what you were taught in school. That's usually what you see in media. It's very this heteronormative way of thinking what sex is, and starting to dismantle it and being like, no, I mean, it doesn't have to be that. There are other ways of expressing it, and it's still sex. So it takes some time, it takes practice, it takes being like, wait a second, the thought you just had, is it actually true? No. And you kind of start doing it a little bit, one by one. And yeah, because I also have some friends who are bisexual, like specifically girls who are, and they still have like this belief of, well, I would like to be with you, but like maybe we need toys to like fully experience it. And I was like, no, no, actually, no. But it comes down to the very heteronormative ideas. And yeah, that's one of the aspects why I think that this a lot of people still stay in opposite sex relationships while they're being bisexual.
And what kind of a heteronormative idea do you still recognize in yourself? Or like, is there any like biased perspective you recognize in yourself?
Um, I mean, sure, of course there is. I am still working on it, and I I have found myself that I'm being more careful when I date girls. To With guys, I'm like very used to it. Like, I know what to do. I have dated them since when I was a teenager. I have the formula down. But with girls, it's, can I do the same things? Is it okay? Sometimes I want to do. Sometimes I actually don't want to act the same way. And it is an exploration in that sense as well.
What kind of topics do you want to see more normalized in society?
Uh, Honestly, the topics of sex and sexuality is one of the big ones. I mean, even if when I did my research with the looking at perfume ads, there was one perfume ad, one that had a transgendered person in it. And in that same advert, it was 3 people having a mixed relationship. So it wasn't monogamous. It wasn't this heteronormative thing. Like the idea of you can have other things. Like you may as well just have that very monogamous heteronormative life, but there are other options. And as like we mentioned with the statistics, people are exploring those options with being more and more heteroflexible. They are exploring what it can mean, what it can bring, having those ideas. Oh, this might seem interesting, and trying out, experiencing it.
In a modern society, what kind of difference do you see between younger generation and older generation, or between men and women?
So there is a big difference between younger generation and older. Specifically, millennials and Gen Z are the ones who are coming out more. The older generation is very set in their ways. The internalized homophobia is very deeply rooted because they grew up with very different norms and expectations. So it is very different for them to come out as opposed to Gen Z or millennials, because we are experiencing the changes now. We are, in a way, still growing up. So it's easier to open yourself up to new ideas. It is a tendency that when you get older, you get more set in your ways. So even in the field research, or the field statistics that we discussed earlier, they also mentioned that it's the younger people who are taking on the heteroflexible tag on that. So yeah, it's mostly younger people who are feeling more comfortable with it. But with men and women, there is a statistic from the US. It's from a few years back, but that more women, specifically left-leaning women, are identifying themselves as bisexual as opposed to men, which which is a bit odd, but there is also the fun trope, or like depends on which side of social media you're at. There is a fun meme or a trend of what are the two things that the bisexual girl loves the most. And usually the first thing is always a fun stereotypical thing of like, oh, getting my hair freshly dyed in this very bright color. But the second thing is always her boyfriend. which also relates back to more people bisexual people being in opposite sex couples. You are bisexual, but you still end up with an opposite sex partner.
Is there any specific reason for that?
Um, it does come down to your environment, how you were raised, and if you're not breaking the patterns. And societally, more people by default think that you're straight. By default, that's the by default assumption. So a lot of the times it's difficult to even find a same-sex partner if you want it, because you don't know. If your gaydar isn't well attuned, you don't know. So you end up with an opposite sex partner because it's easier, it's more convenient. It kind of just happens because that's how society has been built, of having this heteronormative thinking. So everyone around you makes it easier for you to end up in opposite sex relationships.
Do you think it will start getting easier to go opposite of that from now on?
I think so, even because we are seeing like this huge change of people coming out more as bisexual, coming out more as heteroflexible. So it's starting to open up. I do think that it just keeps on going. The world will continue, hopefully, being a safer place, even though it might not look like that right now. But it will get better. Everyone will be more open, and change takes time. But we are already seeing this change of, we have the younger people who are more open to coming out versus the older generations. So we are seeing the change. We just need a few more generations and it will start to get more inclusive, more versatile.
Let's hope so. Well, thank you so much, Monika. So for the last question, I want to ask, what is a tea you want to spill to your younger self?
I don't think I have anything like that. I have a thing of, if I would have known, I would have done it differently. Because based on the knowledge and experiences that we have right now, we are making the best possible option. Because why would you make a bad option for yourself? Is because you didn't know any better. You didn't have the experience that you needed to have. So even if I would say something, it just wouldn't mean anything, because I would still need to experience everything that I had to experience. And
Yeah, that makes sense. That's beautiful. Thank you, Monika.
thank you for having me.